Sean, just general reaction to today's announcement, a new contract. What do you think?
I'm pleased. It's been pending for a while. You know, we've been in discussions. To be fair to Alan in particular, and everyone involved with the new ownership, they made it clear as soon as they got in. You know, had a chat with me and said we definitely want you to be part of it. That was at a stage when we were finishing off last season, big challenge, and the club was reorganising. So I think we were both okay with waiting for the dust to settle. And then over the last few weeks, I've said in interviews, to be fair, it's just getting the I's dotted and the T's crossed, and they have been. So, yeah, very pleased.
It's a 4-year extension, I believe. What does that say about your relationship with the club? Because that's a long time in football.
Yeah, I think, well, it says there's been stability here, and I think the new ownership want stability. They do want to build, they do want to change things, but I think over a period of time, I think they understand the work that needs to be done. They also understand the challenges. So I think really that's what the kind of agreed buy-in is between us, that, you know, it is working to improve rather than making huge jumps at any one given time. And I think they understand that. So, you know, I think there's a level playing field, so to speak, between us to understand what the club is and what it needs to be going forwards.
So I make it, if you see out that contract, that's 54 years old. I mean, a lot of water's passed under the bridge since those early days. I mean, since 2012, can you compare the club now to what it was when you first arrived?
Well, radical shifts, obviously. Over time, though, you know, as I suggested just then, it's, you know, the training ground took some time to planning. Then we got that through. Then it took time to build it. That's the biggest material change, if you like, is the training ground. I think the culture has changed here and the environment we work in, certainly on our side of things. And, you know, now a different change through the business side of things with the new ownership. The fans have stayed pretty much not the same. I mean, I think they expect, but I think there's an earthiness to the fan base here. I think they understand it's still a challenge, it's still an ongoing challenge, but they do back us and support us. So I'd like to think there's still the authenticity, there's still the connection with the people here, but the club has improved and has changed and has moved more with the times than maybe sometimes the outside world looks at it. You know, we certainly have on the professional side of what we do and the team side of what we do with all the modern analytics and science and all the things you would expect, but still got a nice earthy edge and still a real connection with the people of Burnley and the messages that go out from the club into the greater world of football.
And when you look back on that, it's almost a decade now, what gives you that sense of satisfaction and pride the most? Is it the on the field, or is it the development of the club as a whole?
No, I think it's nice to have affected the whole club, but at the end of the day, I'm still a football manager. You know, I still look for the team, I still look at the progression of the individuals and the team. I always went into originally coaching and managing after that to offer something that I thought maybe from my learnings in my career that I could offer more, you know, to other people. And that's always been my start point, still is the development of players. I still enjoy that, rubbing off on them and affecting their careers and their lives if I can, and my staff as well. I still enjoy that now. It's still a big part of what I believe in. But of course, as I suggested at the beginning of that answer, it's still nice to have affected a big change to a club, and I've had a say in a lot of it. Not all of it by any means, a lot of work done by many here. But I've had a fair say in how the club's adjusted, and I've enjoyed that side of it as well.
That's looking back, but when you look forward, what are your ambitions now?
Well, I think they're shared ambitions, you know, with the new ownership with Alan. He wants to change things at the ground and kind of reshape things, and some bigger change than others, of course. The continued work at the training ground, continue sharpening the edge. I mean, it's a very good training ground, but just details and the things that we can sharpen there. The team is an obvious one. You know, we still want to develop the team. As you can see from the recruitment, we've brought in a younger profile of player. Some need a bit more developing, but we think they're good talents to support and to challenge the kind of older, wiser end of our group and find that healthy mixture so that we can keep building on the successes of the past and keep moving it forwards.
As you say, it's all in a way dependent on that relationship with the owners. How's that evolving?
Yeah, well, you know, there's open dialogue. There has been since they've got in, to be honest. They're very open with that side of things. They definitely want to move the club forward. They're moving it forward in their style, which takes time, of course, and we've shared that view. You know, it does take time. It's like I say, it's hard to just jump through hoops straight away. You know, there is a building process in place, and I think they're going through that on the business side. I don't really get involved with that, of course. You know, mine's on the football side, but we do share an open view of both. So yeah, it's been good so far, and hopefully we'll maintain and build on them relationships.
I think a lot of people saw Maxwell Cornet's recruitment as a significant moment for the club, maybe a change in direction, a change in policy, decent money. How would you regard Maxwell's arrival?
Yeah, I mean, we've been speaking about it for a couple of years, well, 3 or 4 years actually, about the development of the recruitment side of the club. Obviously, there's been a major challenge with the COVID situation because, you can have all the analytics you want. I still think you need eyes on players, and that's been tough. But Maxwell was a player that's been on our radar for a while. A lot of diligence has been done behind the scenes for that player to come in. Regarding the shift, I've always made it clear, people in this business, as you well know, put you in a box very quickly, but I've always made it clear, I don't care where the players come. They come from anywhere in the world. As long as they're good players, they want to learn, they want to develop, and they want to affect what we try and achieve here. The facts are the facts. We've had a model in the past that suggested going for safe bets. The board wanted to go for safe bets. They didn't want to be risking decent money on players who possibly, the challenge of settling, the challenge of finding the way that we play, the challenge of finding the environment, etc., etc. This board, this ownership, different kind of thinking, different in the sense of opening their mindset up, opening the moment of risk up, and the risk and rewards of going further afield. So that's good for me, it's good for the club, and we'll hope that it's good for the player as well, because that's the main thing. The player comes in, enjoys their time here, works hard, and helps improve us.
Tough start to the current season, and the signs are, if anything, the Premier League this season looks as difficult as it's ever been. I mean, Arsenal coming up next, a top club, but they're also struggling. Is that a sign of just how difficult this year it's going to be?
Well, struggle is a funny word to use early in the season because it's about results, we know that, but it's equally about performances. I don't think our performances are far away from what we expect from the team. We have to turn performances into wins. Of course, that's the nature of the business. I think I'd be thinking about it more deeply if we were miles away, if we were, performances were a mile away from what we expect from the team. I don't think they are. Arsenal are a good club, as you know, big club, and you rightly said, having their challenges. The Premier League is a challenge. In a strange kind of way, it's refreshing to see even then big clubs have the challenge of the Premier League. It's not always that often, when they do. Ours is about ourselves. Always remains about us. We have to be aware of everyone else, but really it's about us. Tidying up the details, the soft spells we've had in games, which is unusual for us. We've got to make sure that we see big moments through in games, which we often do well. But as I said, I don't think we're far off. I think we're in a better place than we were last season at this stage. Not necessarily points, but the feel of our performances, the way the team's performing. We haven't got anywhere near the injury list, but we've got to expect more from ourselves. And I certainly expect more from myself, the staff and the team to make sure not only are we playing well or playing how we think we should be doing, but we've got to get results, and we know that.
You never seem to panic. Is that because you just have that, undiluted faith in the squad?
I don't think panic has helped too much in my life, so I try and think things through. It doesn't mean I'm not feeling it. Of course, you want wins. The feel-good factor of winning in our industry and in my business as a manager is fantastic. That's what inevitably the development of players is a key for me, but the feeling of the win, I've always chased a win. When I was a player, it kept me going, it kept my head sharp. I like that feeling. It brings calmness to me. It brings an enjoyable inner self moment when I just feel relaxed about it. When we're not winning, you feel it. But the fact is, in my experiences in football, panic doesn't help anything. It's clear minds, it's thought, it's process, it's planning, we're talking through the staff, talking through the players, making sense of the moment. So that's what I try and do. It's not always easy, but that's what I attempt to do, is to see the clarity of a situation, find out where things we can change, find out where they're going in a place we don't want them to, affect change, and then work with the team to make sure that results come our way.
So longest serving manager in the Premier League, you hang on to that for at least another 4 years. What did the family make of that? The fact that you've come up here back in 2012 and you're still here and now you're going to be here for another 4 years?
Well, you've got to be realistic, and managers will tell you, I don't personally think anyone's got a magic wand. There's no given right to be a success in this game. So you work hard. I came up here starting off with the idea, I'd been at Watford, got sacked after a year, business change in that respect, but still, you leave your job. So I came up here probably not expecting to be up here this long, but open-minded to the challenge, open-minded. I thought we could certainly improve what was here. I'd be a liar if I told you I thought all the successes and where the club is now. I'd be a liar if I told you I thought that. But the minimum I thought we could do is improve on what was here at that time. We have done that. We have had our fair share of successes. Long may it continue. A lot of hard work done by many. And my life makes sense of it. They, the family do. They were my kids were little kids when I came up here, and now they're young adults. And that's a big shift. But it's life as a manager, and it's not just football managers. I know loads of business people who give up a lot of their lives to make sure they do their work and make sure they plan and prepare and do all the things necessary. So it's an adaptation from a family point of view. It's tough at times, very enjoyable at others. Just real life.
What would Clough have made of it? One of his youth team players, now the longest serving manager in the Premier League.
He'd have probably said, "Young Ginger, you're kidding me." Then he'd have called me that name that he used to like to call people in general, which wasn't your name, trust me, but it was a name that he used to use wisely and very often.
And how do you go out and celebrate now this weekend? I mean, it's a milestone, isn't it?
No. I've never been too worried about all that sort of stuff. At the end of the day, it's something that I thought was in place. It has been put in place as regards my contract, my future here. It's the work that I'm interested in, so that'll be the focus.
Just a quiet beer and a curry, maybe?
Oh yeah, I like that, but that's not about a contract. Trust me, that's just about real life.
Enjoy. Thank you very much.